Alright, well, I was hoping we'd have our four, but I think he's, busy.
Sounds like it. No. Let's do it.
No. No, let's do it. Okay.
You're sliding.
Fuck, am I? Fuck.
Nice job, Roderick.
How about you, explode?
Okay. I'll do that. I fucking hate these doors.
Welcome, gentlemen.
Fuck.
Please take a seat where you will. Now, with me today, I have my faithful employee and Cerberus member, Adrian, and our wonderful GPD commissioner, Mr. Orion.
You know me, old friend.
Good to see you again, mate.
You're still in one piece. Alright.
Oh, well, I'm trying. You know how it is. Who's your boy?
Benjamin.
Oh, Mr. Riggs. Pleasure. Good to have you here.
Likewise.
Well, glad we're all acquainted now. Unfortunately, Mr. Cooper wasn't able to make it today. It seems he's overbooked himself, but that's fine. We'll make do here with everyone here. I'll send information on the meeting later. Now,
That motherfucker is wearing John Marston's hat. No, sorry. That's Arthur Morgan's hat. That motherfucker.
Bring to you in your police departments. Wonderful. Spectres, Reapers, Titans. Well, Titans are potentially on the table. Stalkers, a very multitude of reverse engineered technology of the IMC and weaponry as well. The question is, what do you need that I can fill in? Well, I know my question for Mr. Maximilian here, as he runs the GPD. I don't really put my fingers in there. I know we've already stricken the deal of adding specters to your police force's retinue.
Yeah, I do want to put those through their paces, see what it is they're good for. A great many things, I'm sure, but I'd like to gauge it myself naturally. As far as forces you have that we might require, Titans and Reapers. I've never heard of these Reapers. Do you have any information on those to display?
Yes, Reapers tend to be sort of, the best way to describe them is he's going to project one of the Reapers. The best way to describe them is they're anti-mech. They're not going to go toe-to-toe 1v1 versus a mech, but if you put about 3 or 4 of them on the field, they'll definitely pack a punch with arc-based weaponry. They have small, I guess you could say, smaller caliber armaments built onto their hands to deal with infantry, but they also have arc-based arc-based weaponry designed to deal with synthetic-based units and also mechs.
Okay. Titans, I'd say, are a bit too much. I would rather leave your resource of Titans to distant warfare and battlefronts. I believe that's where they're more well acquainted. When it comes to defending the streets, I think your Reapers and more of those, what was it? Stalkers? What are those?
Stalkers are basically the angrier older brother of the Spectres. They're not the most quick. They tend to not be the most quickest, though they are able to run. Most of the time, we equip them with a laser-based weaponry called an L-Star, rapid-fire armament that they can wield one-handed. They also punch a much more meter punch compared to the Spectres, and are much more heavily armed.
Okay.
They're sort of your frontline bulwark. You send them forward, and they'll shrug off as many rounds as they can before, if needing to. They do have their battery pack can double as a demolition charge. It'll obviously destroy the unit, but anything nearby will definitely feel the brunt of the shrapnel going off of it.
Okay. I like what I see, personally. I would say I'd like to, ultimately when it comes to working on the GPD, I wanted to split it up into 3 tiers. We have our basic units. These are units which I'd like to patrol the streets, your usual policemen. And I have units that I've been working with K&L to produce, so that's already covered. But when it comes to the SWAT team, as well as the heavy unit division, that is very well where your units could come in. I'd definitely like to take a look at these stalkers and see if I can't make them a permanent addition of our SWAT teams. Things for when situations get very dire, being able to push in, clear buildings, take a hit, and keep on going. That sounds right up their alley. And beyond that, should the situation become extremely dire and there is some kind of terroristic attack on the street that is of high caliber, that's where I think these Reapers can come in for disabling vehicles or maybe even mechanized weaponry that people may happen to put together and attempt to throw on the streets, at least while we wait for our higher tiered authorities such as Cerberus or K&L to step in and neutralize the threat proper. These could at least either get rid of it before we even have need to call in our bigger guns, or at least hold it off while our greater reinforcements arrive. Both of those sound extremely interesting, and I would like to take a look at those. Beyond that, though, I'd also like to ask if you're interested in selling any weaponry in particular, not just the bots of the situation, but we're talking rifles, hand cannons, etc. I seem to be at a bit of a loss for handheld weaponry. I'd like something of yours I can pack a punch for each of these aforementioned tiers.
We do have a variety of different weaponries that can be applied for different tiers. In terms of anything dealing with vehicles, charge rifles, archer rocket launchers, probably dealing with droves of synthetics, maybe volts as your standard issue.
Apparently I'm never not doing guard RP anymore, man.
Or probably in Thunderbolt. Basically, think of it as a shoulder-mounted rocket launcher, but it fires a slow-moving lightning ball, so to speak. Anything that's electrical or nearby in proximity, that's either organic or machine, they'll take damage from it, but it's better skilled at damaging machines than it is organics.
Okay. Considering you sound to have a rather large array of weaponry at your disposal, do you have a catalog that I can get my hands on?
Yeah, I can definitely give you a catalog.
Mark out what I would be interested in, ammunition types, weapon types, and send that back to you?
I can definitely give you that. We have a variety of different sidearms, rifles, snipers, and so on and so forth.
Okay, perfect. I'd love to get my hands on that catalog, and I can
guard dog RP. Yeah, kinda. Kinda.
Instead of asking you 50 questions.
Hard at work. Yeah, I'm standing still with my thumb up my ass. I'm not as important. I don't need to talk to these guys unless they ask me to. So.
Decaling and or repainting these units, which will be joining the GPD proper, to look more like they belong in Garden District. As I understand it, they more than likely have a very basic color palette or something that represents your company, which isn't to say they would be entirely stripped of their singularity. Naturally, any kind of emblems or signage that relates or holds correlation to your company is more than allowed on the unit. But what are your thoughts on recoloring it and
This is true.
putting a GPD branding on it so people know where they're built from and who they're working for currently?
Rebranding or recoloring, I have no issue with it. Obviously, most of the components, or I guess you could say the plates, will probably somewhere on the inscription have manufactured by Helios Horizons. But if you need to slap on an insignia or change it to the standardized color of your police force so it's easily identified, that's not an issue whatsoever.
That would be extremely helpful. Naturally, with stuff like this, for both you and we, a portion of it is about the advertising. We can utilize these units and the signage on them not only to advertise the quick efficiency and strength of Helios, but also the force that the GPD has and the protection that we're hoping to give to the people of Garden District. That's the reason I ask for any kind of recoloring and the sticking on of GPD logos, but also your own in the event that you'd like to have your own walking billboards patrolling the streets effectively, without it being too on the nose.
That's fair. I am going to also defer to Benjamin. I know you've been working very closely with the quartermasters when you're not handling repairs on vehicles. Are there any personal weapon recommendations you would make for Orion for the GPD?
You were asking about things like stuff for SWAT teams and stuff like that, right? Precision sort of.
I'm looking to take these stalkers and place them into somewhat of a SWAT unit. They will be designated and needed for precision, swiftness, but also power.
Got it. So the first thing that I'll recommend is that typically most of the stalkers are outfitted with what he mentioned earlier, known as L-stars. Think of them like energy LMGs. They're very, very hard on the whole spray and pray, melt everything in your path sort of situation. Probably not what you're looking for a SWAT team to get in and get something done, but at cutthroat precision. You're probably going to be looking more towards wanting to outfit them with something known as a Hemlock. It is a 3-round burst precision rifle. Very quick, very easy to handle, even by synthetic standards or humans, depending on who the rifle ends up in. If you need long distance, longbow DMRs are probably your favorite. You definitely want to go with something like that. High velocity, high power, good punching, and very, very just pinpoint accurate. Probably one of the best ones that you can get your hands on. And for sidearms, anything like that, the stereotypical P2016, just a normalized semi-automatic handgun, fires 9mm or 45 ACP, whatever you want to put inside of it. Does so at a pretty good rate, very little malfunctions, does have a interface. Most of the weapons have interfaces on them. They'll link up with smart links, they'll connect to any sort of, any targeting software that you might have put on yourself or the synthetics. Those would be my recommendations for sure.
You've got yourself a well-versed man on the team.
Benjamin's been working very closely with the quartermasters and weapon repairs for a couple months with Helios.
I can tell.
He's also pretty adept with the Titans at this point, if I'm correct.
I've been working and very closely with the Titan engineering and mech engineering for the latter half of the last 7 months. If I may speak freely, I'd like to give my opinion on something if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
You mentioned earlier that Titans may be a little too much for keeping the streets of Garden District safe, and while in most cases I would tend to agree with you on that, Mr. Orion, I do have one application that I think you might want to hear. Most of the Titan chassis that we handle specifically are made for combat and assault very specifically, this is true. However, working closely with one chassis of Titan known as a Tone, despite the fact that it does have very destructible capabilities, the Tone is also very, very good at maintaining and keeping an eye on its surroundings and also pinging for potential threats in the area. It's very good at detecting the undetectable, the large deployable hard light shield can keep everything behind it relatively safe for a short period of time, and the weapon that it carries is not by any means something that would be you would shoot and most likely hit something behind your target. It is, again, very pinpoint accurate, large DMR, yes, with capable destructive abilities, but when used applicably in the right scenario and piloted by the right pilot, you can get a lot done, especially when clearing out a large area or potentially a large warehouse or a building of any kind where people are hiding inside and you need to pick who's your ally and who's your enemy.
That's a very good review.
The Tone Sports shoulder-mounted sonar launcher. It'll fire off a small projectile, and then it'll let out a small sonar ping for its pilot to be able to see, and also potentially lock on to any nearby hostile mechs or any form of vehicle.
I've got a few concerns, admittedly, with it. If those concerns could be put to rest, though, then I may be willing to consider taking you on for some of these tones. First and foremost, my concern is structure of the overall city. My main concern is deploying something as big as a Titan could cause more damages in building costs, for instance, than anything else. If I'm imagining some kind of large-scale shootout on the street, naturally the goal is to try and snuff out or subdue whatever dangerous presence has made itself known before mass amounts of damage in both lives and property occur. If the Tone can ensure this with its aforementioned pinpoint accuracy, and it itself does not cause a mass amount of damage around it, but can specifically neutralize its enemy before anything major can occur, what say you on that?
I mean, there's definitely other ways besides, Titan dropping from a large ship to deploy these things. There are some smaller vehicles designed for deploying them. Obviously, the issue still depends on the environment. If it allows for a small fighter craft to navigate the narrow streets of Zafira, as we know, some areas are a lot more chock full of structures than others, and areas like industrial have spaces that are enough for freighters to land their cargo. So it might be big enough for the Titans to land. But obviously, your primary concern is Garden. In terms of Garden, I feel like rapid deployment of them is a little bit more difficult since it is a more highly populated, and also that gives it a lot more densely packed street. So rapid deployment definitely would be much harder to do, at least within your district.
As well, I would like to point out that our infrastructure is much more delicate, as we're meant for entertainment. We have a lot of lights and signs and all sorts of delicate decorations all throughout the district. So realistically, we prefer to send in the less destructive units and keep away from them as long as we can before we are forced to send those in.
Not to mention that very same delicate structure that we have throughout Garden District is, in a great many ways, highly priced, if not completely priceless, as it is. As such, something too destructive, even in its own deployment, could be more of a detriment than it is an aid, depending. As far as rapid deployment goes, do you mean that in reference to a smaller carrier of some kind dropping them in?
I would say probably a smaller carrier dropping them in might be...
That sure is Red Harlow.
I don't know how densely packed your...
I forgot Grox, you moved, Gaviel lives in Garden District now.
Regaining my bearings. It might be possible in larger plazas to deploy them and then have them navigate the streets that way to their target points. In terms of, obviously, they do have ordnance of missile systems. Their missile systems are pinpoint accurate and only fire if they have a lock-on. So you won't have to worry about a fire and forget, a missile accidentally hitting a non-intended target.
Okay. Another thing is presence. The people of Garden District, it's already going to be somewhat of a minor shock to have a lot of our policing units on the street. I intend on having a mixture of synthetic and human mix within the force. But naturally, there will be synthetic units patrolling, there will be normal units patrolling around the city, making sure nothing is awry, as it were. That's going to be much easier for the people of Garden to get used to. The police force in general has been not entirely dormant, but it's been very active with the Lilacs prior, if I remember correctly, from KNL, and it's now going to be downsized in the way that a more casual force will take on the streets. But beyond that, I also don't want to terrify people too much with massive technology. If they see some kind of highly militarized mech entering the area, they may think that the worst is occurring. And even if that is to be true, trying to keep the public at ease as much as possible is typically my goal. And so the presence of these Titans, while they can be useful and pinpoint accurate, a lot of my fear is the people may become frantic, scattered, afraid. They may believe that the entertainment district of Garden, of Zephyra, is now becoming a heavily militarized state. And this could cause a great many things from civil panic to assumptions. A great many bad, reputable, reputation-harming things could occur as a result of them being on the field. Which is mostly why I would prefer these Reapers. They're a lot smaller, more sleek. If they were deployed into a scenario, while I'm sure they're still a large machine out there on the field, I don't think they would have as much of a terrifying presence as, say, a Titan.
That's fairly understandable. Reapers definitely would probably be, if things really hit the fan, Reapers and Stalkers would probably be your best bet in handling situations. Obviously, Reapers, because of their ordnance, their presence, and their ability to deal with mechanized or mechanized threats. Stalkers are definitely going to be your good, what's the word I'm looking for? Push forward, take ground, not stop if there's heavy resistance. They're definitely good as a moving line, sort of a bulwark for your personnel if things get very, very hectic. Now, in terms of SWAT,
if an actual military threat, say mechs and large robots of that kind or of that size show up, usually the boys who get pulled in are my guys. Police tends to hang back.
That's also something I wanted to mention. While these Titans are plenty useful, I'm sure, the goal for us at the GBD is not to outclass our higher-ups. For instance, Cerberus, as well as KNL, are the more militarized side of Garden District. They have more than what's required to pack a punch and get rid of these larger-scale threats. Any proposed larger-scale threat that could take to the streets. For the GPD, let's say some kind of terrorist cell suddenly breaks out in the middle of Garden District. They've been living underground in the sewers, for instance, for months now, building up some kind of arsenal. They take to the streets, they've got a couple of scrap-built mechs or whatever. Who knows, maybe even like the fire starters we've been seeing around lately. I've gotten reports that they have some pretty high-grade military tech. Let's say there's something similar to that. And they're walking the streets with some pretty heavy military-grade tech. The GPD will be the first responders, naturally. We're the people on the streets with them. If they break out in the streets, we will be the first to respond. But we don't have what it takes to hold back a large, detailed, militarized force like that, especially if they know what they're doing with the technology they have. So our job would then become to occupy them, secure civilians, make sure they're evacuated from the immediate area, and begin engaging the threat. But we don't expect to neutralize it fully. We expect to hold it at bay, if anything, while our larger forces, such as Cerberus and KNL, take the reins from us eventually. We back out of the area, and we let our boys in blue, as it were, handle the situation fully. They have more than what's required to be rid of a threat like that. And it wouldn't be in good practice for me to look for ways to outclass them with things like Titans. Only enough to hold the line, till they can make it there.
then I guess in that case, I definitely would recommend the smaller units. Reapers are definitely going to be your strongest. Stalkers are definitely for if you need to regain territory and deal with a very stubborn and heavily armed unit. Specters, if you need something to patrol with your police forcing, if you need something with your SWAT teams breaching and clearing and being more tactical, I would definitely add on additional specters to the retinue that we've already discussed. They work well in tandem with each other. They work well in tandem with infantry units and police forces. Though they don't, though standardized units don't speak, they can at least communicate. They don't have concerns of any cyber warfare intrusions, as there's only one means to access them, and it's through the port on their back, usually through, proper systems designed for the port on their back or a data knife. So all three of these units are protected from any form of remote hacking. Spectres also have their motion sensor systems, and also can cover ground if they need to go into a sprint or be in a melee fight. They can pack a wallop, and they can use just about any of our, I guess you could say, weapons that we've reverse engineered of the IMCs. Anything that your police force and your, I guess you could say, your proper officers can use, the Spectres would be able to as well.
Okay, so I suppose to maybe not to close, maybe not, I don't know. What I would have to say then, based off all of that, is I would add, with this meeting, I would add more specters overall. Those stalkers, reapers, and I would like a copy of your weapons catalog, as well as Mr. Riggs' suggestions labeled on each of the aforementioned weapons that he suggests anyhow. I'll take the time to peruse the catalog in particular, and then I can send it back with my choices. Any kind of repainting you can do of the units prior to their delivery would be fantastic. And I think I'd say we have ourselves a deal. I think your units could work perfectly, especially with our middle of the road SWAT unit, a SWAT detail. But I think a lot of those weapons could also do wonders in the hands of our street units also.
Understood. If you're in the market for also, I don't know, anything else to supplement the GPD, I'd be more than happy to help. We do have a large catalog of vehicles as well, and other, I guess you could say, gadgets and tools that could probably help them out in the field.
For the moment being, I'll stick with the current order, but I'll take an expanded catalog of whatever else you have at your disposal, and should I find anything on there that I think would work well with the units that I'd like to bring into the GPD, I'll let you know.
Understood. Pleasure doing business with you.
The pleasure's mine. I'm glad to see that you'll have a larger presence within Garden once more, and I'm glad we can help facilitate that. Gentlemen, if you guys have anything else you'd like to add?
It's good to see you again. If we need to do any
It's
business,
good to
we'll
be back.
contact you.
Agreed. I'm looking forward to our business relations, and I'll make sure that one of my secretaries sends you over a notarized document and contract for you, and so that we can work together closely. And how's the orphanage doing?
It's been doing good. I've been meaning to actually talk with, I guess you could say, the heads of that program to possibly do advertising again for it. With a lot of new threats in the city that I've heard about, I see that our resources with that business are going to be, unfortunately, much more needed now than ever.
I see. Well, you keep me in check, and you let me know about anything that comes up. And in regards to that orphanage, whenever you get in contact with them and everything, we can hopefully see about getting you guys a fresh new coat of paint on that building as a welcome back gesture.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. I have been thinking about also expanding its services into some of the other districts as well, but at the moment I'm looking to try and cement our presence at least within this district.
Of course. One step at a time, of course.
No, I'll let you guys get back to it, but if you need me, my assistants will be always more than happy to relay any needs or concerns to me in as soon as possible.
Of course.
Fantastic. Thanks for your time, Roger.
Anytime. Stay safe.
Have a good day.
Take care, Mr. Riggs. Thank you for your time, too.
Likewise, big man. Keep making this place safe.
Sure as I'll try.
Can I get through the door? I got through the door.
Did pretty good in there.
You did alright. You did pretty good.
I mean, you had some pretty solid recommendations in terms of the armaments.
I think so. I'll have to.
Easier now.
Yeah. What, me breathe in this? Yeah, good luck. You know how much armor I'm wearing right now?
I could feel the tension. I could feel you tense up.
You know, if I had a nickel for every time I got into a room with a councilman wearing a lot of armor and carrying a lot of guns, I'd have 3 nickels, which, you know, isn't a whole lot, but it's kind of fucked up that it's happened 3 times so far.
Or the other 2 times.
Hemwick was one of them.
Stay clear of him.
I'm trying, but he keeps coming back to me.
Doesn't want you.
He doesn't really want anything to do with me. He wants me to stop showing up. There's a whole thing. He's with somebody I used to be close with. And him and Kira are...
Hemwick's partner.
Yeah, not really. I used to be. But, I figured we weren't... let's see, this one... There was... Hemwick, who else? Pretty sure there was a 3rd councilman. Was the councilman of Industrial?
Isn't it technician of fucking LF?
Oh, yeah. No, I was in the same room as technician. Not carrying a bunch of guns, though. I was at that Riot concert a few months back, and apparently he fucking showed up. It's a damn shame about the Titan situation, though, huh? Try to get you at least somewhat of a foot in the door there.
Look, listen, you can't win them all. We've got a contract, we've got a potential contract for weapons, we've got a potential contract for Spectres, Stalkers, and Reapers, so we'll call it a win there, and hey, probably future business for some of the gear and equipment that we make later down the line.
It's true, yeah. We'll get there when we get there, then, I suppose. Reminds me, I gotta write up that list for the recommendations then, huh? So, get that out of the way.
Yep. Send them my way, and I'll notarize them with the catalog.
Got it. I can get that done for you.
Oh, a card.
Oh, incredible.
Commit business.
Oh.
Good scene.
Business, 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 business.
I'm gonna jump out here and charge my shit for a party, so sorry to be leaving you guys so soon.
Oh yeah,
but
that's right. Disease at
Yeah.
here in a bit, isn't it?
True.
Or is it?
Say hi to Coffee, everybody. He's been watching through me.
Hi, coffee.
Hi, Coffee.
I might try to stop by for a little bit.
Well, yeah, that'll probably
You're a
occupy me for the night.
heckin' gun nerd.
Yeah, that's my whole shtick.
Thank you so much for your time. Good scene.
Goodbye, very excited of
I'll
you.
message you
Fine, I am
on
too.
I'll message.
I have to make an actual, like, in-character list of recommendations for equipment and weapons now.
So I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Bye, fellas. Bye.
Goodbye, I love you, Ferrix.
Goodbye, birds. Oh my god. Alright, I'm gonna end my stream there.
Now you're back.
Say goodbye to, like, all 2 to 3 people that are watching me right now.
Yeah. This stream doing numbers.
Shit, this doing numbers. Alright, goodbye, stream.